Welcome to the Fit Girl Magic podcast. If you are ready to find your inner magic, develop great habits, and a rock steady mindset to feel confident, comfortable, and fit in your body, you are in the right place. I am Kim Barnes Jefferson, and I'll be giving you weekly doses of health, fitness, and life tips sprinkled with humor and real talk. If you're ready to be consistent without the stress of perfection, magic makers, it's time to slip into your favorite pair of PJs, grab some coffee, kick back, and listen to today's show.
All right, today's iTunes review of the week is brought to you by C. Hayes 77. I am so happy to have found this podcast. I look forward to listening to the new episode every week. I just finished the latest episode on lifting weights and loved it. I listened to it 3 times because it's so informative. I feel like I have a trainer in my ear when I listened and a friend to chat with, along with the things I love, fitness. Thank you so much, C. Hayes. That just fills my heart so full. So anyone else has a review, please absolutely share it with me. I love this and I appreciate every single review that I get. It just melts my heart that I am sharing the information that is going to be helpful for you to make sure that health and fitness is easy for you.
All right, magic makers, you know me, I am not the shy girl. So I'm going to say the quiet part out loud. If you have been telling yourself, I just need to be more consistent, then friend, come take a seat next to me. Because what if the problem really isn't about consistency? What if it's that your life is just full? And that's okay. And today I want to untangle that because I see so many smart, capable women blaming themselves and beating the crap out of themselves when it's not a you issue. It's actually the season that you're in issue, not a character flaw. Okay, let's back up. So regularly, I see women in my DMs, in my comments, in person, and we talk about what does their life look like? And your calendar looks like it is like that game of Tetris, back from the 80s. And your energy is selective, right? Our hormones are just getting a little buck wild right now. Sleep doesn't hit the way it did back in the day, yet you keep holding up the same expectations we had 15 years ago. And you didn't suddenly lose your work ethic. Your life got fuller, your body got wiser, and your bandwidth, it shrunk, right? We have different season right now. We have different rules. And most of the women that I work with, they're not inconsistent. It's not like they don't know what to do. They're maxed out. And then they're expecting themselves to perform like they did in 2009. And if you're quietly thinking, what's wrong with me? There's a good chance nothing is. There's nothing wrong with you. We're just trying to keep running these old scripts that aren't working in our life. This is the best example for it. When we were younger, we had VCRs. Who has a VCR anymore? Nobody. We moved to a DVD. Then we moved to streaming, right? It's not that we don't watch movies anymore. We just watch it in a different way. And so that's what we have to take in right now. We need to treat our bodies in a different way. Like VCRs, those things, they're gone. They're a thing of the past. So one of the biggest lies I see in the fitness industry is that you have to want it bad enough. You got to go hard. And if you're not wanting it badly enough, you're not going to be consistent. And that's not the case for so many of you, because I see this over and over and over again. It's not a motivation problem. It's not a discipline problem. It's not a willpower problem. It's a bandwidth problem. And your life has so many more moving parts. Your stress bucket is fuller. Your recovery looks different. Your nervous system is doing a whole lot of heavy lifting behind the scenes, but your expectations, you're like, why can't I do what I did at 35? Why can't I go back to those 2-hour workouts? And if I can't do those 2-hour workouts, why bother? Why even try, right? We need to tell our expectations, you need to sit on the corner and let me live my goddamn life. So now we're trying to do the same thing this high intensity plan with this midlife bandwidth. And girl, the math ain't mathing. Hey, real quick before we dive in, you know, those posts you see, hey, I'm heading to Aruba in 2 weeks. What can I do to lose the weight? Fast. Girl, Aruba didn't sneak up on you. March didn't sneak up on you either. Life didn't sneak up on you. It just got fuller, more layers, more responsibility, more of everything than when we were 25. Guess what? Back then we could wing it and we could bounce back by Thursday. And right now we're still trying to play that same game, and our life is completely different. You're either sprinting to some finish line or stopping and starting over and over and over again. And here's what I know after years of coaching women just like you. There are times to push, there are times to pull back, and there are times just to hold the line. Think of it like seasons. And knowing what seasons you're in, that is going to change everything. That's exactly what we're covering in my free live session on March 25th. It's all about the 90-day game plan. Your life, your reschedule, a real plan that finally fits. So do me a favor, head over to the show notes and grab your spots and let's frickin' go. So tell me if this sounds familiar, right? We start strong on Monday. Boom. Yeah. Yes. I sat down. I got this plan. I'm going to be on point. This is the week. And then by Thursday, it's like a giant wave took you out. Or maybe you do great for 2 weeks and then life punches you in the throat. Everything slides, and that's okay. Maybe you're like constantly doing mental math about food. Oh my God, I had that extra glass of wine. I totally blew it. Like, oh, should I go out to dinner with the girls? Like, what do I do? And you're just exhausted by just that alone. And the worst part, you keep thinking it's you. Like, if you could only do something different, if you could only find the magic plan, if you could just have more willpower, more discipline. Let me tell you and hear this clearly, it's not your fault. You are not a failure. That's just data. That information is telling you what your current capacity is doing. Capacity, time. How much time? How much energy? How much effort do you have right freaking now? And that's the big difference. In my last solo episode, I talked about the idea of knowing when to push, when to pull, and when to hold the line. And I'm hoping that that episode gave a few of you a lot of light bulb flickers, because most women I see are trying to pull in a hold season. They're trying to push, the level of expectations based on what they did in the past. And that's where friction comes from, right? So let's just give you a quick background before you're like, girl, what are you talking about? So push is like what I call your fat loss phase. Like it's go time. We can dial in, we can get after it. We have the time to do that. Pull is when we're just pulling things back. We're trying to restore our metabolism, kind of reverse out of that push season. We're trying to be strategic and intentional while refueling our tank. And then hold the line is maintenance, right? It's like we're trying to protect what we've built and we're not losing any ground. None of these seasons are wrong, but you just we've been sold a lie. Like we were told that if it doesn't feel hard, or if I don't struggle, or if I'm not white knuckling every single day, every meal, then it's not going to work. I'm not going to keep my result. And I hate to bust your bubble, but that's just bullshit. The magic isn't picking the hardest. It's picking the right season that you're actually living in right now, right? So as I talked about like friction, right? We feel the friction of like, we're trying to do all this stuff and life is just like coming at us hard right now. And that friction is, I'm feeling like I'm swimming upstream like a salmon, right? Constantly trying to swim upstream, exhausted by trying to do the same thing. And I feel like I'm always coming up short. And that is not a willpower problem. That's a planning problem. And here's what first got me thinking about this. So a mentor of mine talked about think about you go on vacation, right? Before you go on vacation, we all make this list, like be it my vacation before, at home, like here are all the things that need to get done before we leave the house. Here are all the things that need to get done before work, before I walk out the door for work on vacation. And suddenly we have this list that we're like, okay, it has a hard deadline. I'm going on vacation on June 15th and I got to knock out this list before I walk out the door. And so we'll somehow always seem to get it done. So then I started asking myself, what if health was planned out this way, this shorter runway, realer deadlines, smaller chunks. Like think about, right? New Year's resolutions. We give ourselves 1 year. Like we wake up on January 1st and we're like, this is my year. And then by December 31st, we've been like, what did I actually say last January 1st? So because like most of us like toss those resolutions by February, not because we're lazy, but because a year is too long. Like we keep pushing the goal down the stream, and we also make adjustments to it. But there was a book that I read, the 12-Week a Year, several years ago, and I did a whole podcast about it. And I stopped like looking at my whole year, and I started like thinking about things in 90-day sprints. And I think about like when I was doing fitness competitions, right? Like January always like started the competition year, and I didn't end until June. So I had like a 6-month sprint, but I really only had about 90 days to like really go heads down on building, and then 90 days to really like tune in my body. And so that is a small window, so that you start to feel like, oh, okay, I'm halfway to my goal, versus like, if I was planning for the whole year, it's like, oh, and I'm like, here it is in like March or April, and you're like, oh, June, so far away, right? So it's like if I gave myself like January, March, January, February, March, okay, I could start to see some things, make some tweaks, make some adjustments, so that the next 12 weeks I know where I'm focusing. So that's really where this all kind of started, like reading that book and also thinking about to my competition day. So like the shorter the window, the shorter the real focus, and I'm actually able to start to see results, but also able to like start to make some tweaks so that I don't get derailed when 6 months comes down and I'm like, nothing's changing. I'm like, all right, but in 6 weeks, what can change? And every 6 weeks, I do like a little bit of an adjustment. And so that's exactly what I'm planning to do on March 25th and 26th, right? We're figuring out what your actual season is, your actual life for like 90 days. And then we're building a plan that you can actually finish, not something that you saw on Pinterest, on the TikTok, like a real plan based on what you got going on in your life. And if you're listening to this thinking like, I definitely haven't been planning my life at all, like my life has been like really full, or my life is about to get fuller, then I want you at this event. It's called Stop Winging It, your 90-day plan to finally making healthy habits stick. And it's completely free. And we're doing this live on the 25th and 26th, like 2 days where we're actually going to do the work together, looking at what your real time, like what are your commitments? What's everything look like? Your real season, mapping out your next 90 days in a way that actually fits your real life, so that we no longer feel disappointed in ourselves, that we can't like leap a tall building in a single bound, right? So the details are in the show notes. So feel free to grab your free spot and just know like this is going to be an eye-opening season for you, because when I first did this work, it finally like clicked. Like it was finally like, oh, I get it. Because, I did fitness competitions for 9 years. So for 9 years, I was very regimented. And then I wasn't. I was like, whoa, like it just like my world the world fell out underneath my feet because I didn't have something that I was working towards. And I feel that for many of you, and maybe you do, like maybe we have a vacation that you're working towards, but then I also see that some people like, post like 2 weeks before, like, hey, I'm going to Aruba. What can I use to lose 30 pounds? And you're like, can you lose an arm? Right. So I want you to be able to like be able to see that it's not that the plan that you're following is that you're trying to ramrod something into a season that you just don't have the time or the energy to do, but doesn't mean I have to give up, right? So with a little insight, a little forethought, we might be able to help you out a little bit, help even out the bumps for you. So if this is landing with you, do me a favor. I want you in that free planning session I'm having on the 25th and 26th. Second, screenshot this and tell me like what is like the one aha that you have from this episode. And I will talk to you guys next week. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you for listening to the Fit Girl Magic podcast. If you've made it this far, yay. I'm thinking you enjoyed the show. Let's continue the conversation on Instagram. You can find me at Kim Jefferson Coach. In order for me to keep sharing this message, do me a favor and leave me a 5-star review on iTunes. While you're there, don't forget to subscribe so that you won't miss an episode. New episodes are available every Wednesday. The Fit Girl Magic podcast is intended to provide you with tips, tools, and strategies that will help you make better decisions about your health. I really appreciate your feedback and your support. Thank you so much.